Hi guys, today we're going to talk about rotations. And so that's this part of your note guide. And a rotation is another type of transformation. And what a rotation does is it turns a figure around a point. And so we'll see what that looks like in just a moment. There's quite a bit of vocabulary having to do with rotations, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what rotations are, and then I'll go ahead and show you how to do one quickly. So if you look over here, rotations change the position of a figure but not its size or shape, so that's just like the other transformations that we've been talking about. The angle of rotation in a rotation is the number of degrees the figure rotates. So we might want to definitely put that in our notes. Rotations are counterclockwise unless a problem specifically states that the rotation is clockwise. So counterclockwise, and you might want to draw in a little picture to show what that looks like. Counterclockwise goes the opposite way of a clock, so that would be that direction. And all of your rotations will be counterclockwise unless the problem specifically states that it's clockwise. And then finally, a figure has rotational symmetry if it can be rotated 180 degrees or less, and it will exactly match the original figure. So look at the two stars down here, and go ahead and pause the video and try and figure out if either one of those has rotational symmetry. All right, so if you look at this star right here, can I rotate it and get it to be back to its original shape? Well, if I rotate it like that, so that that point is sticking straight up, that should be identical to my original shape. So let's see, let's go back to where we started. Make a copy and rotate this like that. And you can see those two are identical. Almost. Pretty close. Perhaps it doesn't have rotational symmetry. So it doesn't have exactly rotational symmetry, but if that was a perfect star, it would. Now this one over here, if I make a copy of that and I start rotating it, you can see because of that larger point, there's no way I can rotate that less than 360 degrees to get it to be back to its original shape.
In this video, I want to show you how to rotate a figure around a fixed point. Make a figure we want to rotate and then pick a center of rotation. Okay, so just kind of pick it somewhere in the center of your paper. And I'll just label this P for point of rotation. And now, over here, we can really make any shape we want to rotate. Okay, why don't we do like a letter? Those are fun ones. So let's do the letter, pick a letter. H. H. So we have the letter H, and let's rotate our H. How many degrees counterclockwise?
50.
100 degrees? Let's do 100 degrees. Counterclockwise around point P. Okay. So let's just focus one point at a time on the rotation. So let's pick this point right here to rotate. This could get a little messy. I'm going to rotate this first one using pencil. So the first thing you have to do is go ahead and draw a ray from the point to the point you're rotating. So that's our first thing. The second thing we want to do is draw a 100-degree angle. with P as our vertex. Okay. So we'll use a protractor for this. We place the center on the center, and then we place one of the rays of our angle at the 0 mark. Okay. Then we're going counterclockwise, so that means we're going up this way. We want to go all the way to 100. And we just make a little mark there so we know where 100 is. Okay. Now we actually want to create our angle with our second ray. So we just line up the center of rotation with our mark. And you only have to go as far as this line right here. Okay, so you think we've gone far enough there?
Yep.
Does that look pretty good? It's okay to go a little bit further. You can go a lot further if you want, but anyway. Now here's where I like to use a compass to finish this off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make P the center of my circle, or the center of my arc, and I'm going to open my compass to the point I'm trying to rotate. And then I just want to draw that circular path until it intersects the other ray of my angle. Okay. Now what does that guarantee about this segment and this segment? They're exactly equal. Okay? And that is the key to these rotations. So this point rotates over to here. I guess we could label the points so we know what we're talking about. Let's call this point A. That would make this one A prime. Okay. And now basically you just follow the same steps for all of the other points. So maybe I'll do this next one. I'll do it in highlighter orange, so you can see the different steps. So step 1 is where it just gets repetitive. Start your ray. Step 2 is to make your angle. So we will use a protractor again. So we set the center, line it up with 0. We go around 100 degrees counterclockwise, make our point. Okay. And then we make our second ray at least as long as this. Does that look good? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then number 3, we make a circle. We're not making the whole circle, which is called an arc, but it's the same concept. So we set P as our center. We open up a new radius to our new point, and we draw that arc. And there, right there becomes our new point. So we'll call this B, and then this one would be B prime. Okay, so you're kind of getting the hang of it. So now we might want to rotate this point right here. So we just follow these 3 steps: ray, angle, circle. So here's my ray. Now if you notice, this ray, we'll call this point C. So ray PC and ray PA, they're the same ray, correct? So what do you think about when we make our angle? If we went 100 degrees, what do you notice? It's on the same line. So we just have to make our angle now a little bit longer so that we get where C goes. So sometimes you luck out and the angles are the same. And then we Well, what would you do if you didn't have this to make a circle? Okay. So we have an alternate step that you could do. And the alternate step would just to be measure the segment. Okay. Or measure the radius of the circle, what it would be. So if you don't have your protractor with you, or your compass with you, you could just measure this. Okay. And you should see here that this is, what, 5 centimeters? So if PC equals 5 centimeters, how long would PC prime equal? 5 centimeters. So you could just measure PC prime out 5 centimeters, like so, and then put your point there. Okay. You guys see that yellow? Okay. It'll work. Okay, so you got that. Then you just connect the segments so that it looks the same. So we want to connect A and B together. Okay, we want to connect C and D together. Okay, and then you can see this just goes in the center, connecting the two. And there we go. So hopefully you can see that if I were to rotate this,
It's an eye.
it kind of becomes the same thing there.
It's supposed to.
All right, pretty cool.